The story begins on a busy morning inside a classroom. Students were talking loudly, laughing, exchanging weekend stories, and drawing in their notebooks. It was a normal school day, nothing unusual, nothing exciting. But at the back corner of the room sat an 11-year-old boy named Liam, quiet as always. He kept his head lower than the others, focusing on the pages of his worn-out notebook. He rarely spoke unless someone asked him something. Most students didn't pay attention to him, and some ignored him completely. His silence made him look distant, but he was simply trying to stay out of trouble. The classroom teacher, Mrs. Carter, a strict woman with sharp eyes, entered the room. The noise slowly faded as the students rushed back to their seats. She began checking homework, walking desk to desk with a clipboard in her hand. When she reached Liam's desk, she frowned slightly. "Liam, you didn't write the full essay I asked for," she said with disappointment in her voice. Liam looked up nervously and replied, "I tried, but I had to help my dad last night." His voice was soft, almost shaky, but honest. Mrs. Carter raised an eyebrow. "Help your dad? Doing what?" Her tone was sharp, and several students turned their heads, curious. Liam hesitated for a moment and then whispered, "My dad works at the Pentagon, and sometimes he comes home late, so I help him with things." A few students gasped, some looked confused, and others tried not to laugh. Everyone knew what the Pentagon was. It sounded important, powerful, and unbelievable coming from someone like quiet, ordinary Liam. Mrs. Carter crossed her arms and let out a mocking chuckle. "The Pentagon? Really, Liam? You expect us to believe that?" Liam pressed his lips together, his small hands tightening around the edge of his desk. He didn't like attention, and now everyone was staring at him. A boy sitting in front whispered loudly enough for the class to hear, "Maybe his dad is the president too." The room burst into laughter. Liam felt heat rush to his face. He wanted to disappear, to hide under the desk, to run out of the room, anything but sit there feeling humiliated. Mrs. Carter shook her head and continued sarcastically, "Next time, Liam, if you don't want to do homework, just say so. But don't make stories about your father working at the most secure building in the country." Liam opened his mouth to explain, but no words came out. His throat felt tight. He wished he had never said anything. He wished he had just stayed silent like always. The day went on painfully. Every time Liam moved or spoke, someone smirked or whispered behind his back. He kept his eyes down, trying to focus on his books, but he could still hear giggles around him. Even during lunch, his classmates teased him, pretending to salute him or calling him Pentagon Boy. Liam ate alone, staring at his lunchbox without appetite. He tried not to cry, but his eyes stung with tears he refused to show. After lunch, the school announced a surprise parent meeting. Students' parents started arriving one by one. Liam became nervous. His father rarely came to school, and he wasn't sure if he would make it this time. Mrs. Carter called parents to discuss performance, behavior, and homework. Liam waited quietly near the door, hoping the day would end without more embarrassment. The classroom door suddenly opened, and a tall man in a black suit stepped inside. The room instantly fell silent. His presence was powerful, confident, and serious. His ID badge hung around his neck, and it had 3 bold letters that every adult in the room recognized instantly: DOD, Department of Defense. Liam looked up, shocked but relieved. It was his dad. Mrs. Carter almost froze. She cleared her throat and tried to act normal. Yes, may I help you?" The man scanned the classroom and then smiled warmly when he saw Liam. "I'm here for my son," he said. The students exchanged stunned whispers. Liam's father walked over to him and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Sorry I'm late, buddy. We had a briefing early today at the Pentagon." The whole class went completely quiet. Mrs. Carter blinked rapidly, struggling to find words. "Pentagon? You really work there?" she asked, her voice trembling. Liam's father nodded calmly. "Yes, I'm part of the Defense Operations Division. Liam always tries to help me at home. I hope it doesn't affect his schoolwork." A heavy silence filled the classroom. Mrs. Carter's face turned red with embarrassment. The students who laughed earlier sat tense, unable to look at Liam. The man continued, "Liam is a good kid. He's honest, respectful, and hardworking. I hope he's treated the same way here." His words were firm but polite, carrying a message that everyone understood clearly. Mrs. Carter quickly apologized, stumbling over her words. Liam looked around the room. Every student who mocked him now looked shocked and guilty. For the first time that day, Liam felt seen. He wasn't invisible anymore. He wasn't the boy people laughed at. He was simply a boy who had told the truth. And now, everyone knew it. After Liam's father left the classroom, the atmosphere remained heavy. Students whispered quietly, glancing at Liam with wide eyes. No one laughed now. No one mocked him. Instead, the room felt strangely silent, filled with guilt and surprise. Liam sat still, unsure how to feel. He was relieved that his father came, but the sudden attention made him uncomfortable. He had spent years trying to stay unnoticed, and now every pair of eyes seemed fixed on him. Mrs. Carter pretended to continue her work, flipping through papers with shaky hands. She kept glancing at Liam, her expression tight with embarrassment. It was clear she regretted what she had said earlier. She had always prided herself on being strict and fair, but today she realized she had judged a child too quickly. She had mocked him without giving him a chance to speak. When the parent meeting ended and classes resumed, the students returned to their seats quietly. The loud, cheerful energy from the morning was gone. Liam opened his notebook and tried to focus, but his mind kept replaying everything that had happened. The laughter, the teasing, the look on his father's face when he saw him, and the stunned silence of the class afterward. He wished the day would just end. Halfway through the lesson, Mrs. Carter cleared her throat. "Class," she began, her voice soft but controlled, "before we continue the chapter, I want to address something important." All heads turned toward her. Liam froze, fearing she would bring up the morning again. Mrs. Carter looked around the room and then said, "I made a mistake earlier. I judged a student without knowing the truth. That was wrong of me." The class shifted awkwardly. Some students avoided eye contact, others looked curious. Mrs. Carter continued, "I want everyone to understand something. No matter who you are, or what your family does, you deserve respect. No one should be laughed at for telling the truth." She glanced at Liam but didn't say his name, which he appreciated. "We must learn to listen before we speak." For a moment, the room was silent again. Liam felt a small wave of relief. It wasn't a direct apology, but it was still meaningful. It showed that she understood her mistake. He appreciated that she said it in front of everyone. As the class moved on, Liam noticed something new. The same students who teased him earlier were now treating him differently. When he dropped a pencil, a boy from the front row quickly picked it up and gave it to him. A girl who never spoke to him asked if he needed help with the math problem they were solving. Liam didn't know how to react, so he simply nodded and kept working. It felt strange, like the entire classroom had shifted overnight. When the final bell rang, students gathered their things and rushed out. Liam walked slowly, hoping to reach home quietly. But as he stepped into the hallway, 3 boys who had teased him earlier blocked his path. Liam's heart raced. He assumed they were going to bother him again. The tallest boy scratched the back of his head awkwardly and said, "Hey." Liam, sorry about earlier." The other 2 nodded quickly, avoiding his eyes. "We didn't know your dad really worked there." Liam didn't know what to say. He wanted to tell them that it wasn't about the Pentagon, that respect shouldn't depend on someone's job. But he simply whispered, "It's okay," and walked away. He didn't want to hold on to anger. Outside, Liam found his father waiting near the school gate. He looked relieved when he saw his son. "How was the rest of your day?" he asked gently. Liam shrugged. "Better, I guess." His father nodded, understanding more than Liam expected. "People judge quickly," he said, "but the important thing is that you stay true to yourself." They walked home together, the late afternoon sun warming their faces. For the first time in a long while, Liam felt safe, not because his father worked somewhere important, but because his father believed in him. That belief mattered more than any job, any building, or any rumor. But as they turned the corner toward their street, Liam noticed an unfamiliar black car parked near their house. His father noticed too. His expression changed immediately, serious, alert, cautious. "Stay close to me," he whispered. Liam's heart pounded. Something wasn't right. The car door opened slowly. A man in a dark suit stepped out. Liam swallowed nervously. His father straightened his shoulders, ready for whatever was coming next. And in that moment, Liam realized, his father's job might involve more dangers than he ever knew. As the man in the black suit stepped out of the car, Liam felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The man looked serious, his face unreadable, his movements calm but powerful. He walked toward Liam's father with slow, steady steps. Liam could sense that this man was not an ordinary visitor, and whatever he wanted, it was important. Liam's father gently placed a protective hand on Liam's shoulder. His eyes were sharp now, completely different from the warm, gentle father Liam knew. It was the first time Liam saw his father shift into what looked like a different version of himself. A version trained, alert, prepared. "Agent Cole," the man in the black suit said in a deep voice. Liam blinked. Agent. He had never heard that word used for his father before. His father replied quietly, "You shouldn't be here." The man nodded once. "I know. But it couldn't wait." Liam's curiosity grew stronger, but confusion filled his mind. Agent Cole? Could it be true? Was his dad more than a Pentagon worker? Suddenly, Liam's father wasn't just his dad, he was someone with secrets, someone important, someone he didn't fully know. The two men moved a few steps away to talk privately. Liam stood still, watching every movement, every gesture. He could hear nothing, but he felt the seriousness of the conversation. The man in the suit spoke fast and low, while his father listened with tight eyes and clenched jaw. After a minute, Liam's father finally said, "Understood." Then he turned toward Liam. His face softened for a moment, but there was deep worry beneath it. "Liam," he said gently, kneeling down to meet his son's eyes, "I need you to go inside the house. Lock the door. Stay there until I come back." Liam's heart dropped. "Dad, you're leaving." His father took a slow breath. "Just for a little while. Something important came up. Something I must handle." The man in the suit opened the car door again. It was clear that his father needed to leave immediately. "Is it dangerous?" Liam asked with a trembling voice. His father didn't answer right away. Instead, he placed both hands on Liam's shoulders. "Remember this," he said in a steady, calm voice. "No matter where I am, I'm always thinking about you. And I'll always come home." Liam nodded, but fear still sat heavy in his chest. His father gave him a quick hug, strong and reassuring, then stood up and walked toward the black car. Before getting inside, the man in the suit spoke again. "We need him now. Time is short." Liam watched as the car door closed, and the engine started. The black car drove away quickly, disappearing down the street. His father didn't look back even once. Liam stood there alone. The wind felt colder. The street looked emptier. His father's words repeated in his mind, "I'll always come home." He walked inside slowly and locked the door like his father told him to. But his heart was full of questions. Where did his father go? Why did the man call him Agent Cole? What danger was out there? And then, something unexpected happened. A few minutes later, someone knocked on the door. Knock. 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 Slow, heavy, echoing knocks. Liam froze. His father had told him not to open the door. But the knocks grew louder. Knock, knock, knock. Liam's breath tightened. Then a deep voice spoke from the other side. "Liam Cole. We need to talk, it's about your father." Liam stepped back, fear rising inside him. Something big was happening. Something he was not prepared for. And now, with his father gone and strangers at the door, Liam felt more alone, and more unsure, than ever before. Liam stepped back from the door, his small hands shaking. The deep voice from outside repeated, firm and calm. "Liam Cole, open the door. We are here to help your father." Liam hesitated. His father's words echoed in his mind, "Stay inside. Lock the door." But curiosity and worry battled inside him. He knew he couldn't just ignore whoever was outside. Slowly, he unlocked the door and peeked through the crack. Outside stood three men in dark suits, serious expressions on their faces. They didn't look threatening, but the way they moved made it clear they were professionals. The tallest man stepped forward and knelt to Liam's eye level. "Liam, my name is Agent Harris," he said softly. "Your father is in danger, and we need your help to make sure he is safe." Liam's heart pounded. He wanted to cry, to shout, but he stayed silent. He had never seen this side of his father, the side that worked in secret, with people like these agents. Everything he thought he knew about his dad was changing in that instant. "Your father, he's not just at the Pentagon, is he?" Liam asked, voice trembling. Agent Harris shook his head. "No, Liam. He is one of the top officials there, handling very sensitive missions. He is trusted with things most people cannot even imagine. That's why we need you to be brave today and stay alert." Liam swallowed hard. What should I do?" Harris looked at him seriously. "Stay calm. Follow our instructions exactly. Your father will come back to you soon, but first we have to make sure he is safe." At that moment, the black car Liam had seen earlier returned. It stopped silently in front of the house. The door opened, and Liam's father stepped out. But he wasn't alone. Behind him walked two more men in suits. Their expressions were sharp, alert, ready for action. "Liam," his father called, his voice still calm but full of authority. "I need you to trust these people. Everything will be okay, but you must stay inside for now." Liam nodded, his small hands gripping the door frame. He felt proud but scared. He had always known his father was important, but seeing him here, in person, with agents and secret missions, made Liam realize just how serious his father's work really was. Suddenly, the agents moved quickly. One went to the front yard, checking the perimeter. Another stayed near the car, watching the street. Liam's father whispered something to the third agent, who nodded immediately. Liam couldn't hear what was said, but he could feel the tension in the air. It was like something dangerous was about to happen, but the adults were ready. Liam's father turned to him one last time. "Stay here, Liam. Don't be afraid. I promise I'll come back as soon as I can." He gave his son a brief but firm hug, and then stepped forward with the agents. Liam watched them leave, his heart racing. Every sound of the street felt louder, every shadow bigger. He wondered what kind of danger his father faced and why these agents were so serious. He had never imagined that a normal day could turn into something so real, so frightening, and so important. Minutes passed. Liam tried to stay calm, but the knocks at the door earlier replayed in his mind. He kept glancing out the window, watching the street. His father and the agents moved quickly, but nothing seemed to go wrong. Liam's fear slowly shifted into determination. If his father trusted him to stay inside and be safe, he would do exactly that. And then, just as the sun started to set, a sudden noise came from down the street, a car engine revving loudly. Liam's heart skipped a beat. He didn't know if it was help or danger. He hugged himself tightly, waiting, listening, ready for whatever was about to happen next. For the first time, Liam understood that being brave wasn't about fighting. It was about staying calm, trusting others, and believing that his father would come back. The suspense hung in the air like a thick fog. The next moments would change everything for Liam, and his father's mission would soon reveal the true danger they both had to face. Liam stayed inside, his heart pounding, as the sounds of the street slowly faded. Minutes felt like hours. He tried to focus on his homework, but every sound, every car passing by, every step on the sidewalk, made him jump. He missed his father, but he remembered his dad's words, "Stay calm. Trust the people helping me. I'll come back soon." Suddenly, he heard footsteps approaching the front door. They were different, slower, steady, familiar. Liam's heart leaped. He rushed to the door and peeked through the window. His father was back. But this time, he wasn't alone. The three agents were with him, nodding to Liam. His father smiled warmly, the tension in his face gone. He looked at Liam and said, "You stayed safe. I'm proud of you." Liam ran into his father's arms. The relief he felt was overwhelming. All the fear, the worry, the loneliness from the past hours melted away in that hug. He realized that bravery wasn't about fighting danger, it was about staying strong when you were scared. His father pulled back slightly and looked at him with deep seriousness. "Today, you were brave. You followed instructions. You trusted me and the right people. That matters more than anything else." Liam nodded, his eyes shining with pride. "I was scared," he admitted quietly. His father smiled gently. "That's okay. Being scared is normal. What matters is how you handle it." The agent stood silently behind them, giving Liam a respectful nod. Liam realized that they were there not just for his father but also to protect him. It made him feel safe and important. Later, when the evening calm returned, Liam and his father sat together at the kitchen table. His father explained in simple words what had happened, a small threat to the Pentagon mission, now safely resolved thanks to quick actions and trust. Liam listened, amazed. He had always thought his father's work was distant, mysterious, but now he understood how important it really was, and how careful his father had to be to keep people safe. That night, as Liam prepared for bed, he felt a sense of pride and peace. He thought about the morning, how his teacher had laughed at him, how his classmates didn't believe him, and how his father had returned to prove the truth. Everything that had seemed frightening before now felt like a lesson. A lesson about honesty, courage, and respect. He smiled quietly to himself. He knew he had grown a little braver that day. And he knew that no matter what challenges came next, he could face them with patience and courage. Before turning off the light, Liam whispered softly, "I'm proud to be your son, Dad." From the other room, his father replied with a warm voice, "And I'm proud to be your dad, Liam. Always." The story ended with Liam feeling stronger, wiser, and more confident than ever before. He had learned the true meaning of bravery, respect, and trust, lessons that would stay with him for the rest of his life. And most importantly, he had learned that no matter the danger or the fear, family and truth were always worth standing by.